Let's Dig crew, what's up? Thank you for joining this conversation. Today, we are talking about the 5 things that men need from women.
Let's go.
Ooh, it's a good one. Ladies, lean all the way in. Come in.
I can't wait.
I'm going to tell y'all.
I can't wait to hear this because I never told you any of these 5 things.
That's true. And guys,
So
don't worry. Pierre's here. He's going to keep us on track. He's going to make sure we're in the hot zone, cold zone, whatever. But I need you to write in the comments to make sure we're on the right page.
Right.
And that I'm telling my sisters the right things because I care about my girls. So I'm going to tell them today the 5 things that men need from us. And most of these things, men will not ask you for. They ain't going to ask for it. They're not going to tell you. Oftentimes, they're going to just move right along.
That's
they're
what
going
I'm
to keep it pushing.
And that's what I'm trying to say. I'm curious to hear what you're going to talk about because I've never really asked you for these 5 things.
Okay.
So she did send me her list. She sent it to me. So I'm not going to be ambushed by it, but I'm reading some of this. I'm like, okay, I like what I'm reading right now, but I would love for you to elaborate on this.
And the last one, the very last thing that I'm going to say that men need from us, you actually need it from me more behind your back than in your face. Okay. So.
All right. So if you guys are looking forward to this conversation, go ahead and hit that like button.
Hit the heart button.
Hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, let me just say right now, what's up? You are part of the Let's Dig crew. Hit that subscribe button. Listen, we are here to help you grow a deeper relationship with God, others, and yourself. That's why we are here. We love walking with you guys. Shout out to all of our Let's Dig crew members
LDC.
that's been rocking with us for a while. And so if you listen to this on Apple, Spotify, all the other channels too as well, go ahead and leave us a little tiny baby review. You could also hit that little heart button too. That's right here on YouTube and send us some love. Love you guys. But if you guys are ready, let's dig.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
So we were talking, this week we made it to 15 years of marriage.
Yeah, baby.
I have been emotional about it because if you are new to the page and you don't know our story, we almost did not make it. Year 10 almost took us out. And so to come full circle to year 15 is honestly a gift from the Lord.
Yeah.
Hands down, we wouldn't be here without him. And if you haven't heard our story, go back and check out some of our other videos. We talk about what we went through. But when we were talking about this, we were talking about how much we've learned in the last few years.
We've learned so much. When we met each other, right? Late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
If you look back, you're like, we were pretty young. And it's funny because teenagers, 20-year-olds, no offense, but you think you're grown, but you really go through life and realize, oh my gosh, I didn't know much. I knew some, but not enough to really get through. And so we got married at a very young age.
Yeah.
And so you saw me transform from a boy to a man.
Yeah.
I saw you as that young college girl to a woman that you are today.
Right.
A wife, right? A entrepreneur, a mother.
Yeah.
Right. A pastor, a mentor, a friend. And so here we are now 18 years together. And I want to hear what you have to say. Like, what are your thoughts? Like, what are the things that you feel like now being with me, you also have a father in your life.
Yeah.
You have a brother in your life. You got
a son.
You have a son. Like you have cousins that are guys. You have brother-in-laws. You have all these men that are in your life.
Yeah.
From what you've learned, from what you've experienced, from what you've read, from what you've seen. I want to hear, what do you think us men, we really need?
So to start this conversation, I feel like we have to go all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah.
And not the beginning of us, but the beginning in Genesis.
Yeah.
Of how God designed.
Genesis is in the Bible.
In the Bible.
By the way. You'd be surprised how many people are like,
that's true.
Where's Genesis? I don't know what Genesis.
All right. I used to know a girl, but I don't really know. So Genesis in the Bible.
Yeah.
How God created Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
And how he created their dynamic. So I think the first thing that I want to talk about is how men need space to be masculine.
So that's
Yes.
So
that's
you're saying
number one.
There we go.
You need space to be masculine.
Yeah.
Because if we look at the dynamics of a relationship, if there is no space for you to be that masculine force and for me to be my feminine, and again, this is why I wanted to reference the Bible. I'm not talking about get your feminine energy, women power.
Yeah.
Like I'm not talking about women are equal in everything that we do. Like I'm not
Sure.
talking about, we're going back to the Bible. We are
Yeah.
going back to how God designed a man and his space and how he designed women in our space.
It's interesting you're talking about that because there's been this huge revolution of like women power.
Yes.
This whole thing of like men and women can do all the things the same. We see in society, right? We see men that are turning themselves into women
Father
to
in heaven.
compete in women's sports,
Oof, Lord.
right? We see, men that's going to be, transitioning to be a woman.
Yeah.
And then they go to prison. They're getting other women pregnant in jail.
I don't want to talk about it.
I know, but like I'm saying is like, we're living in a time where sometimes it's even hard to hold a door for a woman.
Right. Because you insult them.
Because it's insulting. Somebody created this mindset that, women are less than.
Right. And then, it's not that.
And then because of that, somebody countered it and say, no, women are equal to. And inequality has been blurred.
Right.
Because now equality is like, no, if you can do it, I can do it. But that's not really what it is. And as you're talking about going back to the originality of how God created a man and a woman, I love how you're saying that. And I don't know if this is in order. This list that you have is probably not in order. But I do like that you're saying, number one, like a man needs to feel like the man in the relationship.
Yeah.
I would concur because that's even how God designed it. As you're talking about Genesis, God designed the man. He designed the woman. Even their body parts, their counter body parts were very specific. And even at the fall of man, right? For those of you that know the story, Adam and Eve, right? They're in this garden, right? Walking with God. Like there's no sin, there's no darkness. And the woman is the one that is tempted. But when God came looking for them, God had a conversation with the man.
Yeah.
And because he was held accountable as the covering, as the overseer, as the man of the household, not because he's above her like some type of narcissistic, controlling, dictator, but more like a covering, a shield, a protector, someone to look over. And he was held responsible that you took your eyes off of this woman. You took your eyes and she fell into this sin and we all fell and stumbled, but he was actually held accountable. And actually, if you look into Genesis, when God was like, all right, women, here's what you're going to have to go through because you made this decision. And men, here's what you're going to have to go through to make decision. From the sweat from your brow. In Genesis 3, we read this. God's like, you're going to have to work. You're going to have to plow the ground. You're going to have to work. That's how you're going to eat. Yeah. It's when you sweat.
Right.
It's when you put in work. But I do believe that like you're onto something. And I don't know, maybe guys jump in the chat, jump in the conversation. Like, what are your thoughts on like the woman that's in your life? If there's ever a time when you don't feel like a man, like even list out, what are the things that you consider to say, okay, these are the things that make me feel like a man.
Right.
When it comes to decision making.
Right.
Like when it comes to certain things that we do about the house.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to leading my family.
Right.
I would say I do agree that like for me, if I don't feel like a man in this relationship, like I'm going to go find it somewhere else.
Right. Yeah. And if a woman is taking up that space, and it's really hard because in the last few years, since this female power movement, a lot of women have had to be single mothers, and they do go into this independence, which we should have independence. Like I'm not taking that from women in this discussion. But what I'm saying is there is a way to be independent, but still let you lead. There's a way for me to be strong in my independence, but also submit to you because you are the head of my household and you're my covering.
Yeah.
Like there's a balance to it.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because there's a percentage of women that feel like, okay, when I go into the conference room, when I go into these meetings with men, right? Studies even show women lower your voice so that you can be heard over men, right? Dress a certain way, right? Here's how you should wear on the top, wear this on the bottom, things like that to go head to head with these men. And I get it in the work field. There are some strategies, right? To be heard. There's some strategies to be effective in the work field. I fully understand that. But when it compromises who you are, like when it makes you diminish the women features in you because you feel like I need to be masculine like a man, if you're single or if you can't find somebody, I know some women that are single and sometimes I see some behaviors and some traits in them. I'm like, no man would want that because these are such strong masculine features
Or
that you're
he
carrying.
should say no man would be drawn to that.
Yeah.
They
Yeah, no
wouldn't be
man would be-
attracted to
They wouldn't be
it.
attracted to that because for
Yes.
me, I'm attracted to a woman.
Right.
Opposites attract.
Right.
So if you bring in some manly features into our relationship, and to each his own, right? Like some of y'all dudes out there, I ain't whatever. I ain't gonna judge everybody out
Lord.
there, but to each his own. But the counter things that we bring to a relationship, I'm bringing in 100% being a man. You're coming in 100% being a woman. That's
Right.
attractive to me. I was attracted to you because you were a woman.
Right.
So I want to 100% be the man in our relationship.
Right. And it's because it goes back to the original design of what a husband and a wife's relationship looks like.
Mm.
That is when it is in sync. That is when it fits. That is when it works.
Yeah.
Is when we're both in the roles and positions that God has designed us to be. It doesn't mean that only you can take out the trash and only I can wash the dishes.
Yeah.
Although those are agreements we have had in our specific household, that I don't think girls should have to touch trash and he doesn't want to touch dishes. But that's a trivial thing. But
Sure.
But to break it down to say, like, we have the best flow in our marriage when we are mimicking the design that God created it to be.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's
All right.
big. All right. What's number 2?
Number 2.
All right.
Wait, so do we get a green light for that one?
Yeah. I mean,
Thank
I want to feel like a man in our relationship.
Okay. Number 2, men need to feel validated. And that means not mothered, validated.
Yeah.
So a lot of times us women, we can get to the point where we kind of feel a little naggy. We feel a little discrediting. We can be very critical, actually, very critical. And you need from me more than anything that I validate you, who you are, your identity. Even if I have something critical to say, like, for instance, I'm thinking of one thing right now. You always say a certain word funny to me.
Yeah.
And I can be critical about that. But actually, what I want you to hear from me is that when you were speaking and you said that funny word, which was occupy, you were killing what you were doing. Like you did such a great job. You have such a gift, the way your mind thinks, the things that God's put inside of you, the way you communicate. Although you may say a word funny, you were slaying that. Like you were excelling. And so men need to feel from us validated because the rest of the world is going to criticize them.
You know, it's funny too, because men and women are so different because the type of validation you guys need as women is not the same. For us men, we almost need you guys to like stroke our ego.
For sure.
And like, you guys don't really need the same thing. Like, I know for women, and this will be conversation for our next episode, is ultimately women want to actually feel our love. They want to actually feel that they are loved. And it's a feeling. Most men struggle with that because we provide love. We provide love. Like, look at this roof over your head.
Right.
Right. There's money in the bank. There's food in the kitchen. Right. There's clothes on you. Look at all these things. Like, that should already tell you that we love you. But that's actually not true for women. Women actually want to feel loved. Right. And so I struggle with that because, and I think I'd probably say most men would struggle with that, would struggle with like making you guys feel love in other ways other than the materialistic stuff. Like, it's holding your hand.
Right.
Right. It's yesterday, it was our anniversary and I held your hand in a car and I just began to just kiss it.
Yeah.
Right. You can feel my love, even though your nails were all busted up and you didn't have no nails on you.
No. And then you didn't even give me time to put my nails on before we went out tonight. And guess what, guys? You also didn't give me time to do my nails today. I still don't have any nails on.
That sounds like a personal issue. First of all, I'm gonna say that right now.
You're the one who's the timekeeper.
Leave them out of this. Hey, but here's what I'm saying is you felt love.
Yes.
And I think, as you're talking about for us men, the love that we need to feel is very different. And I do agree, like, validation is very important for me. Like, it does build up my confidence.
Right.
It builds up my self-esteem. It makes me feel like you're my cheerleader.
100%.
Like, you're my number one fan. And for us guys, like, we genuinely do need that.
The other day we were driving in the car and Jordan, our son, he's 11. He asked me, do I believe you're going to make a certain goal someday?
Yeah.
And I said so fast, yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Without a doubt. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Mark my words. Like, put it on record. And I've said that since I met you. I know that will be a goal that you will achieve someday.
Yeah.
And I dare another woman try to bet more than me. Like,
Yeah.
no one believes in you more than me.
Yeah. And which was crazy too. I was quiet the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I never said one word because I'm just taking it all in. But it's like, man, she really does believe in me. Like, she really does validate. She does see these gifts in me.
Yeah.
And I would say this too, like, you know, ladies, as you're listening, if there's a man in your life, whether you guys are dating, whether you guys are married, like whether it's a sibling or a father figure, like there's so many different ways where this can apply. Like, you know, men, we do want to feel validated. Like, you know, like we said in Genesis, you know, Adam's curse was, by the sweat of your brow, you're going to have to work, and that's how you're going to eat.
Yeah.
And so for us, the work that we put in, the stuff that we put in, the labor of our hands,
Yeah.
like to feel like it's appreciated or validated, goes a long way.
What would be the primary way that, or primary thing that I do, or maybe need to do more of? Like, what's that primary thing that makes you feel validated from your work?
Say that again.
So like you said,
I blacked out because I'm so hungry.
guys.
I'm thinking about chicken.
Okay.
Fried chicken.
Listen, so you said that you need to feel validated because you guys are putting in sweat. You're working with your hands. You're putting in hard work.
Mm-hmm.
What is the primary way that I make you feel that validation for you specifically, like you're working?
Yeah.
Like, or is it something I need to do more of? But like,
No.
What is that one thing?
I think you do. I'd say the one thing that you do is you acknowledge my work.
Mm.
Like, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So you said it the other day, you sat in one of my leadership sessions.
Yeah.
And which was really cool. I'm leading this session for leaders. It's called Call to Lead.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And it's an opportunity for leaders and influencers to come and build up their influential skills, how to be more effective in their own environment, how to build up just their communication ability and things like that. But you guys know, me being Haitian, being in multicultural states in my life, like I've picked up different things and in my accent. So there's certain words that I say funny. So there's some words I just can't say, or there's some words I got to think really hard. I'm like, that word just don't come out right. I just know that. Right. And so I was saying the word occupy. And I was like, was it occupy? And then you say it too many times, like, I don't know, like what's real or right.
Then nothing sounds right.
Nothing sounds right anymore. But so if you would have came and just nitpicked and criticized me for the one thing that I did wrong and never even acknowledged like the fruit of my work and my labor, like there's no validation there.
Right.
I would have just think like, man, I put in so much work and all she could see is the one word I couldn't pronounce properly.
Right.
And so I think, babe, honestly, like you do it. I feel that in our relationship that you acknowledge my work, which makes me feel validated.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. What's number 3, man?
Number 3. Actually, I'm going to throw in like a little tiny one.
Yeah.
A little tiny one is...
It's like 2.1?
2.5.
Yeah, what you doing?
It's like 2 and
What's
then
she
the
doing,
A.
y'all?
You know how the outline, like the 2 and the A? Okay. You guys actually need to feel like we think you're funny.
Yeah.
Like,
that's still in validation.
you think so?
Yeah, that's still in validation. That's validating me. That's like,
when I laugh at you, I just feel like it is such a thing that guys love to feel like we think you're the funniest person in the world. And it is true. Like humor is so attractive.
Bro, I'm going to say this right now. Like ladies, like if you don't think your man is funny and you think he's corny, if you think he's just lame,
don't date him. Like, get out of the relationship.
Yeah. If you're dating, get out of it. If you're married, we're not going to support divorce. Like
No,
this is not it unless there's sin involved. But I'm saying is like, you guys need to figure find something about him that's funny, even if he's funny looking.
Wait, I was going to say, I was going to tell my girls, like, listen, y'all, don't laugh at a guy that you do not think is handsome or attractive. Because as soon as you laugh at a guy, if it's 2 single people, think about it. If it's 2 single people and the girl starts laughing at this guy, he automatically thinks, oh, she's feeling me.
Yeah, she liked me, bro. She stay laughing at me.
So ladies, keep it together. It might have been funny, but if you are not feeling this guy, do not laugh
But
in his
here's
face.
where I'm going to defend the girls because it's unfair. Because most girls are very different. You might like a guy, but not like a guy.
For sure.
And so it's unfair for a girl to say like, the guy is funny, but that doesn't mean I want to be with him.
I know, but that's a different conversation.
And again, I know because
so deep over there.
This conversation is about men. And so I agree with you that ladies, us men, we want to feel validated. So like, I want my woman to have a sense of humor, and I want your humor to be attached to my humor.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to ever feel like there's another dude in the room that's funnier than me to you.
For sure.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
No.
And so, and you always know too, I start hating on him. Like, man, look at this guy, bro. Look at his nose. I start hating on him straight.
Oh, man.
You know, because honestly, us men, believe it or not, we're more jealous than women.
That's crazy.
But that's the thing, like, we just don't talk about these
you
things.
guys don't show
and so I appreciate
That's
you
true.
saying like, okay, men need to feel validation. So he wants to feel like he's your champion. He wants to feel like he's the funniest guy in your life. You know what I'm saying? So I do. Yeah, man. Like, I'm tracking with you.
Okay.
I'm tracking with you. First of all, and let me say this. If you guys are liking this conversation, if you guys think that we're hitting this on the nose, if any of this resonates with you, hit that like button. Leave us a comment. Literally, we want to know your thoughts about this conversation too as well. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Just hit the button. It costs you nothing. Well, I mean, we're going to be in your feed all the time, but there you go. There's that.
Okay, ready? Number 3?
Yeah.
Number 3, men need women to have a purpose.
Woo, a woman without a plan can't keep a man.
Oh, excuse me?
I'm going to say that one more time. Yo, I'm going to say this. A woman.
Is that Martin? Did you just quote Martin?
That's me, baby.
Oh.
Yo, a woman without a plan can't keep a man. A man is attracted to a woman with a purpose.
Yeah. Like, you guys have to, like, if you had a girlfriend or a wife or someone that you were dating that didn't have a plan for herself, a motivation, an inspiration, a passion project, like nothing, those men do not want a woman who's a damsel. Like,
Facts.
They want someone who's motivated. And I want to be very clear. That means whatever you do, you're passionate about it and you have purpose.
Yeah.
And that does not mean that only way that you can do that is by getting a job and being a career woman and an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter. If that's your thing, do that. If your thing is to be at home and take care of kids, that is your purpose.
Your
like
thing.
Whatever it is that you're passionate about, like, you have to have purpose behind it.
Yep.
That is what a man needs. He needs, like, as he takes care of the house, as he works, as he does what he needs to provide for the family, he needs to know that his partner has her purpose as well. And they're working together.
Yo, some of my most frustrated seasons of my life with you would be the days that I'd come home. And what'd you do today? Oh, just, stuff. I'm like what stuff? I slept in. I'm like, again? You slept in again? You slept in yesterday.
Listen, he be judging me when I sleep in, but I don't.
I'm like, oh, okay, you slept in. Okay, what time you wake up? Okay. And did you go to the gym? So I went to the gym, but
I wasn't really motivated.
I wasn't motivated.
So then I went to Dunkin' Donuts and got a donut and a coffee.
I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm looking around the house.
Guys, I don't
see no donuts around the house for me.
I was really struggling.
Okay, so you got a donut. Got it.
Yes.
Cool.
You were at work.
And you came home. I was like, okay, cool. And she'd be like, yeah, I still need to take a shower. I'm like, it's 6:30 p.m. When do you take your showers?
It's true, guys. There have been seasons. I mean, and I think that all women can identify with this and like relate to it, that there are seasons where sometimes our purpose goes up and down, or we're reconsidering, like when we moved to LA, getting into like the hair salon scene was so hard at the beginning. And so I was waiting for my license. I couldn't get hired till my license came through. It just felt like it took forever. And that season was very frustrating. And I felt like I had no purpose. There are other seasons where after COVID, I didn't think I was going back into hair.
Right.
And so then I was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. And that was part of even our breakdown of our marriage and in therapy was, what is my purpose?
Yeah.
So there have been those fluctuations, but I remember that being so frustrating for you of like,
Yeah.
but what do you want? Because I do think that I championed you hardcore. You wanted to do the same for me.
That's really
and if
what I
I don't
want.
know it, then how do you champion for me?
And that's going to go to number 4 in a moment. But yeah, I really wanted you to just find your thing. And like you said earlier, purpose is not saying that you have to be this entrepreneur, businesswoman that's just killing in the industry.
You can be, and you don't have to be.
Like, you totally can be. And your purpose could be like, hey, I'm staying at home, I'm taking care of the kids, and I'm making a home for us. That's a purpose.
Yeah.
And don't let anyone ever think you or make you think that that's no purpose at all. Your purpose may be something as simple as, like, let's say you're in ministry and you're an intercessor. My mom, her purpose was praying for people.
Bro, that woman knew Jesus.
She had a 24/7 phone line. It's just like, no matter what time of day you call her, she on
Anytime.
the. And matter of fact, she doesn't pick up because she's on the other line praying with somebody in Haiti.
Yep.
I'm like, so that was her purpose.
Yeah.
Her purpose was her children.
Yeah.
And she took pride in that. So I'm not sitting here saying like purpose, this and that. You guys need to have if you're a husband or your wife, you guys have a conversation about
purpose does not equal income.
Yeah. Yeah. And
like,
so
that doesn't determine it.
Yeah. It's quality over quantity.
Right.
And so for you, if you made a decision saying like, this is my purpose, and I'm okay with, and I was okay with season where you're like, I'm taking this season off to really find myself and discover myself. Okay, cool. For me as your partner, it's like, all right, how are we going to do that now?
Right.
What time you waking up? You still gonna sleep in and so there was still activity for this because it's quality over quantity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I do believe that for me as a man, and I think most men can say this, like, we want a woman that has a purpose, that feels like she knows why she exists, why she's here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I do think that's big. That's big, and it's attractive.
It is attractive. I was going to say that.
And vice versa too. I think this is going to make the list for like, what women want. Women want a man too, as like, hey bro, what are you doing with yourself? Well, I'm finding myself. Nice. Finding myself don't pay the bills.
And I'm not looking for you. So I'm keep moving.
Let me know when you find yourself and then I'll come find you.
Like, where's Waldo? Okay. Number 4. All right. Number 4, a man needs to be supported.
Explain.
And I think that goes beyond, or like in a different category of validated. I think that supported means that when you come home and you may have frustration, when you may have fatigue, when you may have like just roadblocks that you're running into, that I am still supporting you even when you're showing the weakness.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's so much stigma on a man always being strong, always being like consistent. And yes, we do need consistency from you. Yes, we do need your strength. But when you don't have them, which is natural, which is normal, am I still supporting you, or am I kicking you while you're down?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm still here for you. It's okay. You can show that vulnerability. I can sit here with you in it, which took me some time to learn sometimes, of like allowing you to show that vulnerability and show that weakness or that struggle.
Yep.
And then to still be there with you alongside of you and being like, okay, what do you need from me?
Yeah.
Okay, let's give it time. Okay, let's just make sure that we do that. Like, because support in that sense, I just think that I literally have a visual of it, of the support beams. Like when the roof is falling in, is the support beam still there? Like, and that's my role as a wife, as a woman close to you in your life, to say like, no, I got you. Even on those days when you do crumble a little bit.
Yeah, that's big, man. Because ultimately, like, I don't need you to be my mom.
Right.
I don't need you to be my elementary teacher.
Yeah.
I don't need you to be my coach. I don't need you to be my motivator.
Right.
Like, I love the thought of we are support for each other.
What was the other day where I was like, you were frustrated about something, and I said, oh no, I'm not trying to give you a speech because I know I can't motivate you like you motivate me. I can't give you the coach speech and it be as effective as you can for me.
Yeah. But
to just sit in it with you and to be like, yeah, man, it really is frustrating and I'm sorry. It sucks.
And that happens. Like we have moments throughout the week. I'm like, yo, this sucks right now, situation. And you would just sit there and support me in it, like, and you wouldn't beat me while I'm down, or you wouldn't try to get me out of it.
Yeah.
Like, cause that's tough too. I'm like, yo, I don't want you to snap me or slap me out of it.
Right.
It's that support of like, I feel you. I see you. I see the work that you're putting in. I see where you're coming from. And then we talk about this in our last few episodes of like, even like when it comes to like even fighting, explosive fights, of asking the question of like, what do you need from me?
Yeah.
Cause that's very helpful too. Cause I think there'll be times where I'm like, the support is you just asking like, what do you need from me in this season, right now, in this day, in this moment? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's big. All right. So what's the last one?
Okay. The last one, and this is what we said.
Number 5.
Number 5, we said that you need it more behind your back than you need it in your face. Any guesses?
Yeah. Well, you sent me your list. So.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not fun. Okay. Let's see if they're guessing in the comments. Okay. So it is respect.
Yeah. That's big.
And that means that you actually need to hear about my respect and my speech about you to other people more than you need to hear me verbalize my respect to you. I do need to give you respect in our home, in our conversations. Respect goes both ways, right? So even in an argument, like I need to respect you, like all those things, yes. But also even more than that, when I'm talking to someone else and you come up, do I respect you in the way I talk about you? Do I lift you up in the way, or do I make fun, or do I poke, or what does that look like? Like you need more respect in other circles of conversation that you're not in.
Yeah.
But when I'm there, like I'll be that part for you.
That's big. Yeah, man. If a man feels respected, you'll get the best out of him.
Yeah.
Like you'll get him feeling confident. You'll get him respecting everyone else in the room. And you'll get his attention.
That's so good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's big.
Yeah.
That's big. I really do agree with this. This is more important to happen behind my back than in front of me.
Yeah.
Because like, I look at my parents, I look at my mom, like my mom never badmouthed my dad a day in my life behind his back to us.
Yeah.
And that was massive.
That's huge.
And he was confident and he succeeded because of that, like because she respected him.
Yeah.
And he actually wouldn't give all these other women certain type of attention because he knew that like, no one can top my wife in the category of respect.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
And I think in a marriage, you actually feel my respect more than you hear it. Like I don't verbalize my respect to you.
Yeah.
You feel it in how I talk to you. You feel it in how I treat you in our home.
Yeah.
You feel it in those manners. But when respect is verbalized, it's verbalized to other people. It's verbalized to our kids. It's verbalized to my family or your family. Like in those circles, it is words.
Yeah, that's big. Ladies, what do you gals think about this conversation as you're listening in on like, okay, I'm in a relationship right now. Let's say you're in a marriage. Let's say you're dating. Let's say you're looking. These are the type of things that I do agree with you that men do need and actually don't ask for.
They will not.
And if
ask
it gets
for
to the point that a man finally has to ask for this, he's been thinking about it for too long.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very true. And a lot of times, actually, I think that the man would actually not ask for it. He would probably just end the relationship and move to the next.
Yeah.
If he doesn't feel respected, if he doesn't feel supported, if he doesn't feel honored, like those things, if he doesn't feel this space for masculine space, like he's not going to verbalize those things.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, yeah, it's just not a fit. And he's going to move on.
Yeah.
And men, if you are listening to this conversation and we didn't mention some things that you feel like you need, but you may not ask for, please write them in the comments, like write them down below in this video.
Yeah.
Let the other women that are watching this video, let them hear from you and say like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that one. And even if we have to do a part 2 of this, we could do a part 2 of this conversation.
And also too, like, all these lanes can be broken up into so many different subcategories. Right. You say, okay, man needs sex. Well, that falls under the first one of like men need to feel like a man.
That's true.
Like the masculinity.
Yeah.
I want to feel that in our sexual life.
Yeah, that's true.
I never have to ask you for certain stuff in sex because you just know what I like. You just know what it is.
Right.
And for me, like, it's the worst having to ask for it. And I never have to ask for it because I'm like, and she know.
Yeah.
Your girl be taking care of your boy.
Listen, guys, every time he goes
Let's
to
go.
this conversation,
I
I
kept
get
it clean.
so nervous.
I saw you too trying to play
because
cool.
I
kept it
don't
clean.
know what Pierre's going to throw.
I kept it clean. I kept it clean. All right.
Thank you for keeping it clean.
You.
I love you.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. If you enjoyed this conversation, we hope that it really, really brought value to you. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the things and become part of the Let's Dig crew because we love y'all and we are here to help you grow a deeper relationship with God, others, and yourself.
We will see you next time. Peace.